So along the way, I've decided to help my buddy Gary out. He's restoring these old airport runway lights. Put them in the sandblaster. Gonna powder coat them. They were traffic yellow to start with. Just so happens I have access to traffic yellow. And we're gonna fix these up for Gary. So here's Gary's powder coated traffic yellow runway taxi lights. I've powder coated a lot of things by now. You know, things come out looking pretty good, but these are used parts. You know, there's always some kind of a nick or a scratch, maybe a tiny little dent. You can tell they're used parts, but this clutch fork came out incredibly good. It doesn't look used at all now that it's powder coated. Looks brand spanking new. I'm kind of shocked myself because I know what this stuff looks like when I'm done powder coating it. And this one takes the cake. The only thing missing is a blue and white Mazda box. Couple more things done in the powder coat booth. That little bracket is holding the blower motor on the inside of the car. Little bracket above it holds the center console together, goes underneath. Actually, you'll never see it. These two rails here, these have the channel that guide the rear quarter glass. A couple of horn pieces here. Just about ready to put the horn back together, so I had to get the outer ring and the inner metal diaphragm powder coated. These are factory Mazda engine mounts. So now that they're powder coated, they look brand new. And they're in perfect shape. Gonna use them. So then we have the wiper motor mounting bracket and associated arm, and the wiper arm themselves. So those are powder coated and ready to go back on the car. Got some work to do. Okay, picked up plating batch number 6 from the platers. See what we got here. First I got a bright nickel or a bright zinc batch. These brackets here are from the air conditioner. They help hold the controls on. I've got a nice little string of screws here. And these are cool, actually. These hold the front nose cone brightwork onto the front end. You'll see those in probably part 2 of brightwork. Part 1 of brightwork will be me polishing up the chrome, you know, the shiny stainless steel. And part 2 will be me installing it on the car. A lot of these other screws here are... most of these guys here are from mirror and ceiling mounted dome light. Off to the side here I got a couple of pliers that were in use in my garage. The big tin snip, you're going to see that tin snip prior to the plating in the headliner episode. So we'll see that. And the only thing holding up the rebuild of my horns was getting these 2 diaphragms plated. I thought about painting them, but it really looked like they were plated coming off the car. That's what they did. I think they called it a zinc phosphate at the platers. Okay, moving on over here, I got some black oxide. Yeah, this batch here is from seat belts and their bolts, washers, lock washers. Some of them are wavy washers like these guys, and there's some star washers in there. whole bunch of that stuff. Right above it there are some speed nuts. These are the speed nuts that hold the shift boot to the center console, stuff like that. Up top here, the larger speed nuts, these hold plastic interior pieces together. Over here we got a whole bunch of screws and washers and nuts and things that hold interior pieces together. Now this other piece here, this is a clamp that holds the wire harness for the voltage regulator on the 1974. Moving on over to the zinc chromate department here. I've got a hood latch spring. These pieces here go to the valve that help control the evap tank and what's coming and going. These clamps here hold the wire loom inside the boot. I'm ready to put the boot back together, and so I needed those. I got an extra flywheel nut. Down here, got some various screws. Top right there, those are going on the blower. These two larger nuts hold the fuel pump onto the chassis. And these other nuts here hold the grill badge onto the grill. I did have some miscellaneous parts that I got. They were just kind of lying around the shop, and that's what those are. This tiny little screw in the middle here, that is an ID plate screw for a Mazda. Went ahead and plated it. It's an extra. Oh yeah, speaking of fuel tank, there's the drain plug and washer, so that's ready to go back in the car now. While I was cleaning up, I found the fender hardware, or front guard hardware, or shall we just call it guardware? The body shop put on the car whatever they put on the car, but this is the OEM stuff that came off the car. The part that sticks out, I had shiny zinced pieces that go underneath the car. I did in zinc chromate, and from what I could tell, that's how they came.